What's going on, everybody? TG here, back with another video. Hope you guys had a great weekend. The week is about to start. We got another massive earnings week on our hands. Monday starts off with just going right into it. Beginning of the opening, we have Berkshire Hathaway and Estee Lauder. I expect two great quarters from them. Berkshire Hathaway actually just had their meeting over the weekend, announcing 11 billion in profit, but also saying that they're not going to be investing in cryptocurrencies, so we could potentially see a little bit of a decline if some people are anticipating that. But I think overall the stock rallies, it's doing so well. But Chegg is the one I'm going to be really looking after the market. If we look at Chegg's stock, it's pretty close to its all-time highs. I mean, it's sitting at 115.21 as its all-time high. It's sitting at 90 right now, so obviously a little bit off of it. Everything ran up huge in February when all those tech stocks did, so it's still about 20% off its high, but this stock has been doing really well. And semester's still in attack for a lot of people. I actually finished my semester, so I'm done. But a lot of people are still going to be using that, and that's going to be in the last quarter. So I think they're going to have a blowout quarter. Guidance, I don't expect it to be as good because obviously it's summertime. A lot of people are canceling their subscriptions of Chegg, but overall this is still a very, very solid stock. Next day, before the open, we hear from Pfizer. You guys know me. I love Pfizer. I've been in Pfizer for a while. The stock does not move that much. The giant pharmaceutical company does not move that much, but it's got a nice 4% dividend locked. They're safe on that. And it's trading at a pretty reasonable range right now for P, about 31. A lot of drugs in their pipeline, a lot of opportunity there. So I think Pfizer does well. I think we're going to see great numbers from their vaccine and some up and coming drugs that they have that's going to be increasing their profits. So definitely watch out for Pfizer because it's been a solid company. It had that one peak where it ran up to about 45. The CEO sold, it crashed back down, but since the lows, it's recovered pretty nicely, and now it's sitting. It showed some really good support around 38. So I definitely think this is a long-term buy. If you want to buy and hold, you can't go wrong owning Pfizer's stock. Right after that, we hear from CVS. Now, CVS is another great stock with a very low P ratio. This stock trades incredibly cheap right now after putting out some great earnings last quarter as well. I think they do the same again this quarter. CVS is a very, very well-run retail pharmacy chain, and it's here to stay. I really, really like CVS. Obviously, they do have some competition when it comes from Amazon, and you guys know me. I have Amazon on my account, so I'll be very transparent about that. I really like Amazon as well, but when it's trading this low, got a nice 2.6% dividend as well, and you can't really go too wrong with this. The only problem is it is trading near its 52-week high that it actually hit yesterday. So the stock is very, very close to the top. So it could be almost like an Apple situation or Amazon situation where it posts really good numbers, but then it still falls down. That's the one thing I'm worried about, because if we look at the Nasdaq from last week, the same thing happened. We saw just companies posting incredible earnings, flying after hours, and then just sinking hard. A lot of stocks closed much lower than they did before they reported earnings after posting an insane beat, such as Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. So, who knows what's going to happen. You're really going to have to impress Wall Street if you want to keep those gains. But overall, I think they're going to be good numbers. How the stock reacts, that's 100% different. But after the close, you hear from Skills. Do you guys remember Skills stock? This stock has just been on an absolute tear this year, hitting 46.30 at one point this year, then falling back super hard. It has rebounded from lows, has rebounded about 45% from its lows, which is very impressive. But overall, this is a future company right here. Gaming, the online gaming world, competition platform is huge. It is on iOS and Android games, so some people are a little skeptical because the majority of online gaming comes from console and computer. Most people are not gaming on phones. So how they handle this and how important this earnings is for them is very significant to see their users and their daily active users grow. Because obviously gaming's big. There's no denying that gaming's big. So we're going to have to watch for it because it really matters for Skills. And then after, we also hear from Virgin Galactic, the space flight company that has gotten pretty beaten down recently. In the past month, down about 25, a little over 27%. One of the insiders sold a giant part of its stake. Again, another company that's very, very futuristic, trading much closer to its 52-week low than its 52 high, significantly closer. But again, I don't know if we're going to see much on their earnings. This company, you guys know, it's a futuristic company. It loses a lot of money, and that's one of the issues. If you look every single quarter, it loses money. So I don't know. It's not going to be a significant earnings quarter, but it is a significant stock that people have to talk about. Maybe they announce something different. But, the next day is the big day, probably the biggest day. Actually, Wednesday and Thursday are the biggest days combined. But, before the open, GM, that's about the only significant one. But after the close, that's when things get interesting. That's what we hear from PayPal, the company that's really revolutionizing the financial online payment system. It's just incredible, this company. Yeah, I think if you want to own a stock, this is the stock you want to own. People are treating this like a bank stock. And I expect another great quarter. Last quarter was amazing. If we go ahead and look at some of those, earnings, just incredible. 1.57 billion net income, 25% profit margins. Just incredible growth for this company. Now that they're adding, cryptocurrency and cross-border payment systems, I think this stock is going to do really well. Again, will it impress Wall Street enough to go up? That's the question we have to keep asking ourselves, because I don't know it does anymore. I mean, I'm seeing 50% year-over-year growth from top companies in the world, giant earnings beats, and stocks are still falling. So it's going to be interesting to see how these stocks rally from an earnings beat. Because like I said, we're seeing great companies just get slaughtered because of it. So it's going to be interesting to see. But again, I'm expecting a good quarter from them. GM, I don't know though, because of the chip problem. It could be bad. It could be like Ford. Ford's dropped down like 12.5% after they announced incredible earnings beat, but they talked about how they lost a lot because of the chip shortage. That's hurting. We also hear from Etsy. Etsy's taking on Amazon. It's a pretty solid business as well. Homemade, like handmade stuff. People really like that stuff. I don't know if it's going to be able to put up a strong enough quarter to rally though. I'm going to be honest. Especially since we just saw such big growth from Amazon. I don't know if Etsy's going to be able to, but we're definitely going to see some sort of growth. I wouldn't buy before. I would not buy before though, to be honest with you. Uber, that's a hard one in my opinion, because Uber obviously has been hurt from this pandemic. Less people are traveling in those vehicles. We saw Lyft; they had their earnings as well on Tuesday, so we're going to have to hear from both of them to see how each of them are handling the pandemic, and if demand's up, if people are actually still traveling with it. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Twilio and Fastly, absolutely love these companies. Absolutely love these companies, especially Fastly. There's no way you could actually hate on Fastly. Fastly is such a great company. Very, very low as well. Trading right in the middle of its 52-week high, 52-week low. American computing services provider. It's incredible. I like this stock long term. And I'm actually going to add it to my positions very, very soon. We saw it get rocked the other day on Tuesday, dropping over 10%. So I think this is a good buying opportunity before the quarter. I would buy this stock before the quarter. All right, but that's just me. That's what I'm going to personally do. Hopefully my stocks can rally this week. I can get some capital, and I can go ahead and add a long-term Fastly put, because I love this stock. Twilio, the same thing. Twilio's amazing. Twilio's changing the way we do things, and again, these are two companies you want to hold for the long term. We also hear from Marathon Oil. Oil price has been skyrocketing, as you guys know. I think they have a good quarter. They have a really good CEO as well. So a well-run business, but obviously it's not the future, so it's not something I want to hold long term, because I do believe in the electric vehicle revolution, and I believe that we're going to slowly transition out of oil, especially under a blue administration like Biden's. Just not something you want to own. But before the open on Thursday, Moderna, I expect another strong quarter from them. They are trading pretty high, near their 52-week high, but this company is more than just a vaccine. This company is the future when it comes to mRNA technology and drug development and vaccines. It's incredible what their messenger RNA technology can do, and I think they're going to use that for a lot of other stocks, or a lot of other diseases. Look at me thinking about stocks all the time. I forget what's actually reality. But this is definitely one you want to own long term. I think this is probably the best biotech company in the world. And I don't say that lightly. I really think that their technology is something, truly out of this world, and it's going to do a lot of great good for this world. We also hear from Penn. You guys know me. I love Portnoy. I think gambling is a significantly good business run by, obviously, a great team owning a part of Barstool. I think that's a great acquisition. And I think that they're going to put another stellar quarter together, especially with all the online betting we've had from different sports. March Madness, all these UFC fights, golf, like just so many different things. People are loving gambling. They're getting into it huge, and I think Penn posts another great quarter. It's a little pricey, but I think it's a great stock long term. And then after the close is probably the biggest ones of all. First off, here from Square. Square's trading a little bit closer to its 52-week high as well. But this company, this financial service and digital payments company is insanely good. Insanely good. We go ahead and look at, their last earnings quarter, and they just did amazing. 140% year-over-year growth. They're really doing good. I think I'm really impressed with the amount of growth that this company has had. And I think it goes much higher. The only problem is its PE ratio. A lot of people will see that. They see, 553 PE ratio. That's pretty high. Obviously, it's going to drop a little bit on earnings to a little bit lower because they are going to have an earnings beat, which I definitely expect them to do. They did 58 cents last time. I think they do a little bit more this time. So, Square is something you definitely want to hold long term. But maybe see if you can get it at a discount. It is trading a little bit high right now. So maybe see if you can get it at a discount. And then there's Roku. Roku, cutting the cord for cable. Again, this is the future. But again, trades at, probably one of the higher ends for stocks. Trading at 342. This is about over $100 off of its highs. I really got hit hard on Friday. But, the company's valued at $45 billion. And they had a really good earnings quarter last time with 58% year-over-year growth. Net income, obviously, is the biggest one we're looking for at that. But, they are profitable now. As you can still see, in the beginning, they weren't profitable. These last 2 quarters, they are, and they're making profit. Is it enough to justify its market cap? We're going to have to see. I'm going to be watching this one very closely because if it does take a big hit either before I'll go ahead and swoop in or after I'm going to go ahead and swoop in, kind of watching it and seeing how it does there. But overall, guys, there's a lot of great stocks out there. You also hearing from Peloton. It's a little bit more of an expensive company as well. That did get hit pretty hard with the whole treadmill thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch it closely. If we see, like I said, 95. If I see under 95, I'll go ahead and pick some up long term as well. But and then obviously DraftKings on Friday, another gambling stock that I think will do very, very well. But there is a bit of risk right now. Like I said, I don't want to say it's all fun and games. Just because the earnings might be good doesn't mean that the stocks will react good. And again, we saw that last week with Apple and Amazon. You look at Apple, they go ahead and report earnings, and it flies up huge. This was actually 139 after hours, and then it just fell hard. Over 5% since then. So you really have to impress the street, and just be warned that you could report a stellar earnings beat, top and bottom line, and still get hammered. So, just watch it closely, watch how these things work. But overall, I'm expecting a great earnings week, numbers-wise, and hopefully the stocks will react good to them as well. And if they don't, use it as a buying opportunity, not as a scaring selling opportunity. But anyways, guys, have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.